Happy Monday, everyone. Happy Monday. We are back again with Roadwarden by Moral Anxiety Games. We're in it for the long haul. So we are fully past the halfway point. We've already found at least one of the end game options, and we are still in the midst of do all the quests. So that is what we're up to today. Um, welcome in, everyone. For my subscribers, you don't have to worry ads, but for everyone else, you can't even hear me yet. There is an ad in progress. So sad. But anyway, we have the splash screen of tribes come and go, but the woods abide, which is a very nice reference to the dude. If you do not know the dude abides, and you can look up that reference yourself on Google. But he's a pretty cool dude. We like that dude. Anyway, here we go. Onward and on Onward. Hey, Dragoon. Hey, welcome in. Long time no see. You made it today. That's awesome. Nice to see you. It's Monday. So yeah, we're still playing Roadwarden. If you hadn't been in the know, but welcome in. We have arrived in Howler's Dell, which was the very first village we reached. What I've really kind of enjoyed is there's this border thing going on, so anything super significant ends up on the border. So like the first thing we had was we named ourselves. My name is Salrun, and I used to be a fighter. My first village I reached was Howler's Dell. I managed to reach the sea. I traveled to the 4 major crossroads that connect the peninsula. I also managed to get through the heart of the woods, which is kind of a thing. Down here, I was ready to sacrifice a magical fruit for the sake of others, which we still go and solve that whole thing, and maybe get some exploration in Old Pagos, because we've not been able to be inside because there's a plague. I found a promising copper vein, which I have yet to tell anyone about. I survived many confrontations with hostile creatures. As you can see, I have not died. I gained insight into the methods of defending myself from wild creatures, so I know better how to defeat them all. With some time and effort, I managed to fish. I've managed to catch many fish. I oftentimes forget I have them. I became quite a forager, which is always a good thing. More food, I should say, for me. And thanks to the Eastern Path, it got just a bit safer, which is very handy. So, we have just arrived in Howler's Dell. It is getting close to the end of today, because that's where we left off last week. And let's get back into this, shall we? You approach the opening gate, then swiftly dismount. Ready to take your mount to a stable. Good to see you. How are your journeys? Wow, we're actually a known person here that they like. Let's gossip for a bit. The curious locals gather around to take part in your conversation. Recently, the roaring of dragons gets louder every day, so maybe they're trying to overcome the local hunt queen. Ooh. We will enter the village. The stable master shows up soon after you step away from Soda Pop. His lips are thinned, and he gives a longing glance toward the village. What is our money situation? We could spend, I think it's a coin, them do everything, or we could just say we're broke and do it ourselves. Oh, yep. Sorry, I completely forgot to turn that off. I've been forgetting it. I need to get that back into my routine. Thank you so much, Dragoon, for reminding me that I still have my "Hey, we're going live soon" thing up, which I have on primarily so that when I immediately go live, people can come in and know that I'm getting ready myself. So, appreciate you. I've not had enough coffee. It's Monday. So we can claim to be broke, or we can pay the fee. I kind of need all my dragon beans. I need all my coins, so I'm just gonna say I'm broke. and do it myself. He scowls at you but points at an empty bucket and steps away. So we will fill the trough with water from the creek and make sure Soda Pop is comfortable because we take care of our horse. Yes, we named our Soda Pop. That's just what we did. You're wandering through the village. You see crying 3 older girls. They clean his injured knee while stopping themselves from laughter. 2 red-haired twins are weeding a flower garden. All right, what did we need to do here? We're kind of just here because we were at the Druid's cave and we did Beholder and we needed to come here for something. I don't remember what. So because I do not remember, let's go check our journal. What do we have available? All right, explore the peninsula is still a thing. Help others is still a thing, although we've done a lot. Find the Roadwarden, still a thing. Haven't him. He's up to something. Flowers for Eudocia. She wants us to pick some orange tulips. That'll probably be Heart of the Forest. It's the first time that we've had like an actual Heart of the Forest sort of quest. Glaucia's band is also in the Heart of the Forest. They're in there somewhere. We needed a grappling hook to get at them. Healing the plague, we're on the way to, or well, rather we need to pick up the druid from the cave early in the morning and then head up to Old Pagos and back. Hidden pouch, we found it. We actually do need to go back to White Marshes to turn that quest in. Hidden village, we know where the path starts from. We are going to go grab an item from Theseus or Thyrsis is I believe his name, the druid, to get through the undergrowth because it's kind of thorny. Lost merchants, yeah, we still need to find the lost merchants, which were taken by Glaucia's band, so that's a bunch of things together. Missing hunters, they're all over. We know where some of them went. We don't know where all 3 of them went, but we know we need to get into the forest again to do more with this. Arentius the Necromancer, we still need to gain somebody's trust enough to meet with this man so we can go, dude, what's your story? Talk to us. What the heck, man? And to see whether or not he's just trying to help his tribe using the resource he has most available, or whether he's up to some sort of crazy naughtiness. We don't know it. And then the ruined village, we do need to talk to people about this village because crazy shit happened and we're not entirely certain did. Lasson from Pelt of the North doesn't want to tell us what he knows because he's a jerk, but we don't hang out with him that much. So we're about halfway through all these quests, and I'm pretty sure there's like 1 or 2 quests we haven't actually yet found. So let's go to talk to people. We're going to talk to the tailor first. Aha. She's embracing a brown-haired woman that you're unfamiliar with, who enters the house when you get closer, leaving the 2 of you alone. I show her the necklace I found at the hamlet. Have you ever seen such a trinket? She looks at it for only 2 breaths. Aye, in Gale Rocks. They do like their shells and fish. 'Tis like when some people wear claws and tusks. She pushes it back to you. Maybe when 'twas still new, 'twas pretty. Awesome. Do we need her services? I don't think we do. I mean, we can pay, we don't have enough coins to upgrade and we can fix it ourselves. The fancy clothes we should look into. Okay, we don't have enough coins for any of the fancy clothes. The fancy tunic is the cheapest, which is fitting for a rich city official. The fancy robe would make us look like a merchant, and the fancy dress would make us look like a diplomat. But it takes work and way more coins than we have. It's luxury. All right, cool. Let's go to the druidess. Let's see if there's anything else that they can say. Yep, the building site hasn't changed much since the last day of your visit. The druids are nowhere to be seen, but before you approach the doors, Elpis walks outside, followed by a few of the other elders. And nothing to say. Okay, farewell. So we will go to the main square where everybody else is. You approach the inn. The stools and benches are filled. People share news and plans for later. The air is lively and filled with soothing routine. The innkeeper is walking around the tables cheerfully, taking care of empty bowls and plates and bringing new servings from inside the building. Thais is nowhere to be seen. The stall is in perfect order but draws little of the locals' attention. The trader walks around gossiping, but whenever someone approaches the counter, he quickly moves back. Pyros is sitting at a table eating gruel from a bowl. Let's go see if Pyros has anything to say first. Roadster, need anything? Apparently not. Sorry. Kikos. Here we go. This is what we are looking for. When a Kikos notices your arrival, he tells the other villagers to give you some time in private. Buying or selling? How's your daughter? Did the potion work? She's fine. Brought back her first lizard, and nay thanks to me. He exhales. She got my help. A burnt bridge. But I had a chance to talk with her. He scratches his head. At least now I can heal myself when we get swarmed by the undead or brigands or goblins or the Unites. Whatever. 'Tis what we're afraid of now. Aw, he didn't get to reconcile with his daughter at all. I mean, he was a wife-beating SOB at one point, and clearly he's turning a leaf here. He is attempting to get his shit together and not be a terrible father, but yeah, his daughter's not gonna deal with it. So I don't blame her. At the same time, I still think it's sweet that he's trying. Maybe someday they will be able to have a conversation and come to terms with the past. But today is not that day. Tomorrow does not look good either for him. But he is attempting. He is attempting to not be a wife-beating SOB anymore, which is good. Which is good. Let's hope he never gets married again. I'm looking for flowers that look like orange tulips, but with much larger leaves. Do you grow anything like that? I'll ask at Beyond's. Her wife had some of those. After a few minutes, he brings a pot with a plant not larger than your hand. It has a single flower and a couple of healthy leaves. Back in spring, Astron asked us to grow them, but he's no longer around. That little stinker. Ava, their presence annoys me now. 3 dragons, and I'll give you what's above the ground. Maybe it will grow again. You ask him what he knows about it. He picks it up to look at it closely, as if this is his first time seeing it. Well, the forest speaker from the southern cave told me 'tis an herb for potions. Snake bait, he said. I think it lures serpents? I'm nae sure, but 'tis pleasant in taste, I think. This means we have to go, immediately back to Osia. So maybe another time. Do we have anything to sell? Yes. Prize me. An elk fur. So, fine, but I already have a deal with the innkeeper from Pelt, and we also hunt on our own. I'll give you nae more than 18 rings for it. Alright, chat. First, vote of the day. Deal or no deal? 1, 2. Numbers or keywords are what matter in chat. You guys let me know. Deal or no deal? Do you think that we should take the 18 rings, or should we try to get a better price elsewhere? It does take up inventories. At the same time, we don't really have encumbrance problems, as far as I can tell. This is a fantasy world where our mount is not just like the size of a war mount in real life. It's like a dire horse from D&D. Like, it's a gigantic horse. So it's it doesn't, as much as it does take up space in our inventory, we don't seem to have an encumbrance problem, if that makes sense. not that kind of game. This is more of a story than a crunchy numbers game. The rings, Winter Fairy, I'm not entirely certain what you are referring to. He's talking about dragon bone rings, which are the currency of the place. So 18 rings is 18 currency, essentially. So it's we're not getting a trade good here. We're actually getting currency money. Yeah. I know, it's a Monday. So we could try for 18. We could get 18 rings here for this elk pelt. Or we could attempt to make more money in a different town. So Winter Fairy says deal, and Dragoon says no deal. Okay, that means I have to decide. Convenient to do it here. We have a bit of money. We really do need to get more. Well, yes, Dragoon, you say no deal, but Winter Fairy also has a vote, and Winter Fairy says deal, which means that I have to be the tiebreaker because there's nobody else in chat. I don't know where all my usuals are. Well, actually, that's not true. Sorry Awkward will not be here with us this week because Sorry Awkward is on vacation. But outside of that, I don't know where anyone else is. But we might be able to get more rings for it elsewhere. Probably not Creeks, because they hunt. Gale Rocks, maybe. I would love to trade with Old Pagos, but we haven't opened that up yet. And they may not have enough of anything to trade. So, seeing as we bought it at Pelt to the North for 16, I think. 18 is 2 more rings than we paid to buy it. I'm pretty sure. I actually think I'm going to do no deal today, just because I think we can get more for it elsewhere. However, we do have this, which is a rabbit pelt. He gives it a long look. Where did you get it? We could say from my source or in Creeks. So we did get this from the hair pelt from... Who did we get it from? We got it from Foggy, who is technically a member of Creeks, even if Foggy's place by the lake is not actually in Creeks, but slightly down the road from Creeks. So how do we want to explain, or what do we want to say? Do we want to say from my source or in Creeks? 1 is source, 2 is Creeks. Chat, what are we going to do? We're technically not lying for either one of these, which is why there's no lie in brackets. But it was just like, here, I don't need this, so you can have it as a part of a reward for a quest, essentially. Whenever he starts off the vote with 2 in Creeks. No. Absolutely. The only town that people have a problem with is White Marshes, and the only problem they have is that there are awakened corpses there. That's it. Oh, hey, Bromley. Long time no see. Good morning. I know it's early for you. Tell him about Creeks. You're helping trade in the region. That's entirely a good point, Bromley. So I have 2 votes for 2, and I'm assuming Bromley is also a vote for 2. So that's a consensus of in Creeks. You do not say. His long fingers brush the hair of the pelt creature. They're learning. Weavers from Pelt, but 8 rings? Seeing as we got this one for free, that's not bad for a small rabbit pelt. A hair pelt. So, chat, you know the drill. Deal or no deal? Deal is 1. No deal is 2. Whatever you guys decide, that's what I will do. Rhyme intended. Oh no. You poor thing. I believe Bromley has started off the vote for a deal. Well, good morning. Bromley, I know you're on the West Coast, so it's early for you if you only have gotten 5 hours of sleep, which I mean, fair. It's a Monday. What does the rest of chat think? Deal or no deal? 1 or 2? You guys tell me what I will do. Because that's how we play this game together. Dragoon also says deal. That's 2 votes for deal, so basically the deals have it. All right, we're making money. Deal. What else are you hiding? We are hiding the Trollbone tablet, which we also got for free, to be honest. He makes a satisfied grunt. Nice work, and you even got the stylus? It'd make for a nice gift if I were to change the wax for a green one. Want to leave it here for 3 rings? We could leave it here for 3 rings, but could we get a better deal at the monastery? That is the question. Deal or no deal, chat? What do you think? 1 is deal, 2 is no deal. Keyword or numbers or both. You guys tell me. Dragoon says deal. Or, I'm sorry, Dragoon says no deal. That's fair. Do you know what it says? Yes, we've already... The reason why we have the stylus is because we've already turned in this quest. It was a very sad letter of, I'm leaving you for somebody else. That particular quest has become my favorite tragic storyline in this whole thing. Is a man got left by his husband for somebody else, and I felt real bad about it. So yes, but we might be able to sell it for slightly more at the monastery because they would appreciate something to write with. Yeah, I feel sorry for that guy. And then he became the store in White Marshes, so poor man. I like him a lot. He's my favorite. He's my favorite quest giver. Not my favorite NPC. That's Foggy. We love Foggy here. She's awesome. But yeah, that was my favorite little side quest. It was so sad. But Dragoon says no deal. I'm assuming, Bromley, that means that you have voted for deal. Do we have a tiebreaker in chat, aka Winter Fairy? You want to tell me which one we're doing? Deal or no deal? He was so proud of this tablet too. Like, I kind of almost want to not sell it just because it's cute. Bromley has changed his mind. All right. We'll try to sell it to the monks. Forget it. We're keeping it. All right. What do you have for sale? Just the flower. I will think about it. Not for now. Okay. Let's talk to the innkeeper. Eric's also approaches the counter, welcoming you with a wide smile. He doesn't have anything new to talk about, but yeah. 2 for 1 on rations. We're okay. We do not need that. Okay. I'm actually just looking for I have a very nice pitcher to pour from, so it makes a lovely sound. I'm glad that you guys get a little bit of ASMR from that, but it's not exactly intentional. So yeah, I'm just looking for more conversation topics. So we'll talk to the mayor. The guard informs you that the mayor is currently busy, but he'll mention to her that you're waiting. You sit down on a bench and wait for a while. When Theas joins you, she apologizes for the wait. Welcome back to our village, Salaron. You wanted to see me. I bring news. I'm listening. face many struggles. Your tale takes quite a few minutes. Not only does Theus have many questions, she asks Irix to bring her a wax tablet, in which she starts making notes. Once you're done, she lets out a relieved sigh and speaks more to herself than to you. If it just so happens that the tribe will need my help, I'd be prepared to answer their call. She looks you in the eyes and smiles warmly, then closes the tablet loudly. I do not really want to tell her about Savarina's, of Gale Rocks, the mayor of Gale Rocks' arrangement with the messengers and and things. I actually think that because Howler's Dell has such an amount of wealth, that Gale Rock's getting first dibs on the goods from elsewhere kind of will help them. And it also means that because they basically pass by Foggies on the way, should they take the eastern path, that Creeks and Gale Rocks have kind of, it's sort of an evener, I guess that would say. So I don't really want to tell her about that. I could tell her about Elpis not necessarily having high regard for her, but I don't really want to start a fight in, like, a civil war inside the village. And then we have the copper mine, the copper vein that we found. It's kind of on the eastern side anyway. Which Howler's Dell would have the, I suppose, ability to mine it, but at the same time, they basically have almost everything they need anyway. I think for now, that's all I have to say. That's all I have to say. She smiles widely. All right, thank you for your time. So, we are not going to sleep here. We aren't. For those of you who are not subscribed to me, you are going to get an ad in about a minute, just FYI. So, we are going to go to the Elder's Cave so we can deal with this plague. We are allowed to sleep there now, but I wanted to double check some things. 2 ibexes, a male and a female, are lying on the rocky mountainside. A gentle wind is brushing their fur. The old man is grinding something in a bowl placed on a table-like rock next to the closed entrance. What do you need, traveler? I would like to enter the cavern. So be it. Let me open the door for you. Cool. So we are going to... That way, we can dealing with the plague in the morning, go up to Old Pagos and open up all of that, which will be new content because they've been dealing with a plague. Starting soon. So we shall sleep. You think of the people you've encountered and of what you've done for them. You picture the rough road and their monsters, the claws hidden in all the places where you can't be out. Hands torn limb by limb, burnt villages, poisoned wells, cut throats. You keep waking up, not sure if these thoughts are a dream, a memory, or a vision. You stand up, walk around, and breathe, slowly, deeply, stomach rising and falling. I will focus on its movements. Ooh. Well, seeing as we have an ad just out to run, subscribers, you get to vote on this. Nobody else does. You came here to help people, change their lives for the better, to heal the land. But after many struggles and sacrifices, this place is almost the same. You think of the past days and find both of your deeds and the gloom of the things that are out of your reach. You can save some people, but not the entire realm. You've done so much, but you're small and alone. So, subscribers, do we reject this thought and I need to be stronger, people need me, and I'm going to help them no matter the cost? Or I may not be all powerful, but I do as much as I can. I need to accept my limitations. So, Do we need to be stronger, or do we accept our limitations? Strength or limitation? One or two? Subscribers, you know what to do. Winter Fairy wants to reject this thought and just decides that we need to be stronger. Help people no matter the cost. All right. You may be the only subscriber I have chat at the moment. So, you have decided. Cool. That is what we've decided. Oh, our maximum vitality grows from 4 to 5. Dang. We got upgrades. Good news, everybody. Subscriber chat has given us upgrades. We have a maximum vitality of 5 now. That's pretty amazing. Your heart is filled with both anger and determination. It keeps you awake for another half an hour, but you finally force yourself to return to sleep. You need strength for the rest of the journey, after all. And we lie down. The shivers wake you up. The cold breeze enters through the open door. The old druid is standing outside, surrounded by the fog, whispering something in the old speech. The garden patches are hardly visible. You keep thinking that in just a few minutes, a glazing pair of eyes will sink its sharp teeth in the man's neck. But the humming of the spring is gentle and undisturbed. The fall will make the fogs even more calm. Soon roads will get too dangerous for a single rider. Interesting. Morning. The man has already left the chamber. Once you start scattering the furs across the floor, the stinging in your back goes away. The woman is sitting next to her bed, swaying back and forth. We will leave her alone, we promised. We shall go outside. Let's... What sort of weather do you expect for tomorrow? It takes him a few minutes to complete his ritual. It will get warmer than usual. The last such days before fall. Cool. We are going to wash so that we're not gross. We're going to eat a ration. So that's what we got. All right. So we are 5 out of 5 vitality now. 4 out of 4 nourishment. 3 out of 4 armor because we can't upgrade it with... I mean, we could have, but I'm saving my coins for other things. And we are as pretty as we can get without better clothing. So, the druid observes the sky, but looks at you after a few breaths. I'm ready to take you to Old Pagos. Without a word, he walks through the metal door and leaves you alone for a few minutes. Once he returns, he holds a red staff and a linen bag, which he gives to you. I'm old. You'll carry it, he states matter-of-factly. He's changed into similar pants and a tunic, but their greens, blues, and reds are lively. You don't see any stitches or patches. Still, he looks like an old commandant, not a priest. As you lead Sodapop down the path, there isn't much of an opportunity to speak with the old druid. He looks around, observes the plants and the sky, but hardly ever glances towards you, and never for long enough to have a chance to read your lips. I follow him north. The locals drop their tools and head to the road, observing your approach anxiously and bowing to the elder. The commotion spreads to the other side of the wall as the villagers call their friends and families to gather round. Behind the open gates, you're welcomed by a tunnel of onlookers. The druid raises his hand and waves to no one in particular. He moves forward silently, not interested in what he sees. Once you get to the fruit-bearing trees, you turn right. Crossing the bridge is not easy for an old man, but he doesn't ask anyone to hold him, instead putting his weight on the staff and taking slow steps forward. The welcoming committee awaits you on the islet. The druids are gathered on one side, while a group of elders are on the other. Thea stands in your way, right before the second bridge. When you reach her, there's a long silence. So, do we let them play out their games? Or do we say, let us be, what we do here is unrelated to you? How do we deal with Howler's Dell? 1 or 2? Chat, what shall we do? I am leaving this up to all of you. Yes, the rhyme is intended. Games or unrelated? 1 or 2? Winter Fairy starts off the vote with 1. Let them play out their games. What does the rest of chat think? Dragoon also says 1. There's no harm in letting them play. I mean, it is a politics game, so it's going to be kind of boring for us, but we said we'd keep him safe. That's what we said we'd do. We'll get him there and back again. Nope. I don't believe so. Maybe. I stopped keeping track a second ago, which is my bad. It's a Monday, guys. It's a Monday. I'm recovering from the weekend too. Not that I did much this weekend, but you know. Alrighty then. I guess we will just let them play out their games because that seems to be the vote. The mayor welcomes the elder with a nod. We're honored to see your arrival, Forest Speaker. I hope you do not want to leave us already. She puts her right hand on her chest and chillingly titters. There's no trace of her city accent. The elder's tone is both firm and polite. I'm not here. If there had been another path I could take, I would. He looks around, observing the nearby faces. I'm glad to see you in good health. This place does not need me. And thanks to this stranger, I can reach the people in great misfortune. Good day. Elpis steps forward, with fingers clenched around her staff. Beholder has been awoken. Our people have the right to its seed. You're robbing us of a fruit for which we've been waiting since the spring. Her cadence is indistinguishable from your companions, and you notice their staves have an identical length. Do we not intervene? Or, I've made the sacrifice, it belongs to me, and I get to decide. Because technically speaking, that is true. We are the only person who put in enough effort to cause the fruit to come to being. We're the ones who put not just 2 spirit zones of worth of energy into that offering, but our own blood, our own life force. Quite a bit of it, I might add. So we could let the forest speaker that we are escorting deal with this, or we could make a declaration of our own. It looks like Winter Fairy starts off the vote with 2, and Dragoon agrees. Yeah, this is clearly a play for politics, but also for power. The seed will save the people of Old Pagos from their plague, whatever this plague is, but it would also strengthen the people and the druids of Howler's Dell. So I can understand their jealousy, but they did nothing towards this. So we've decided to make a stand. And this stranger has chosen what none of you is brave enough to do. The man sounds like a disappointed teacher. You realize he has heard the druidess voice without looking at her lips. Ava, you, Elpis. He points at the pale druidess with his staff. His hand is shaking. To think you would dare to claim our holy totem as your belonging. Your soul is marked with corruption. He looks around. You who believe you deserve the seed do not understand who you are, how lost you are. He moves his staff around, pointing at various faces. He wants to move forward, but the mayor puts hands on her sides. In her eyes, you see an unfamiliar glimpse of fear. You've already eaten the seed once, O speaker. Do not make us. So, do we think that the forest druid, our forest speaker, knows what he's doing, or do we say there's a need for violence, don't push it into it? I mean, we are technically outnumbered here, but at the same time, a forest speaker, a druid of this this much experience and power, considering he probably taught all of the other druids in Howler's Dell himself at one point, is not to be considered helpless either. I mean, yes, he did ask us to protect him along the way, but it's not that he couldn't have gotten there by himself. He just didn't want to deal with this shit by himself, let's be honest. So, 1 or 2, chat, what shall we do? 1 is doing, and 2 is don't push. He knows what he's doing, or no need for violence, don't push. What will it be, chat? What will it be? Winter Fairy starts off the vote with 2 again. Anybody else want to weigh in? This is tough. This is very tough. But yeah, it looks like the 2s win it once more. So, there's no need for violence. Don't push us into it. The elder scoffs. I would sooner turn myself into a pike and swim down the stream than drop the seed into the swamp and drop the seed into the swamps than rob the one who has followed our traditions. The Roadwarden did so in the name of what's right, and I believe it with my whole soul. His voice raises. 1 year. After everything I've done for you, I'm taking away but 1 year of prayers, yet you still fight. What a pathetic day. He doesn't wait any longer. He steps forward and the mayor gets out of your way, observing the 2 of you with shame and fury. You cross the bridge, then the open gate. The man returns to silence, but his back is bowed, shoulders drooping. Aw, he's disappointed in these people. Like, it's a single year. They have survived way worse than missing out on this seed for a single year. And yet they would condemn all of Pagos over it. He's so sad. We're almost there. Congrats, Winter Fairy. I'm so sorry that she's fighting the naps, but if she's teething, I'm pretty sure that's why. It's probably because she's hurting, that she doesn't want to nap and is grumpy and grouchy about it. Because, you know, all she has is to lay in her bed and be in some sort of, you know, uncomfortable pain. Teething is the worst. Even if we don't remember it later. Yeah, so that's probably why she's fighting naps, is because she's just generally uncomfortable. So it might be... I don't know what the schedule is for you, but any way that you can help her with that pain before she needs to nap will probably help her sleep. And frozen waffles are an excellent idea because, you know, she can gnaw on that and numb her teeth, her growing teeth. The man stops near the clearing and leans on his staff, contemplating the clearing silently. When I was but a brat, nay, a bough was trimmed without a greater purpose. Not only for humans, both for the trees and land. Pinching the spirits was a misdeed. He turns to you, observing your lips. I've heard tales of great sages, from before the days of the emperors, who restored such lands with a single spell, brought them back to life, helped us find forgiveness, the right path. Yeah, it might just be necessary to give her some infant's Advil about, I don't know, 20 minutes, 10, 20 minutes or so before you put her down for a nap to see if that doesn't help her calm down and settle. Because it's probably just the pain of her teeth that keeps her fussing. Poor thing. Someday it'll all be over and done with and she'll feel much better. But until then, what are we going to do? How are we going to respond to this tale of sages? Do we ask, and where are the sages now, or do we shrug? As a reminder, our character is a pagan, so technically, us and the forest speaker are sort of the same religion. Granted, we're from the south, so our our traditions and pagan rites are probably different from those in the north, but we are technically part of the same sort of belief system. It looks like we have an overwhelming number one, please. All right. Well, where are these sages now? Those are just stories. He glances at the dead trees, made up by those who dream of salvation, but we do not know what they need to be saved from. Who think there's a balm that will cure a soul, the fate itself? He resumes his walk, and we follow him. Yep. I understand his thoughts. The hills are bright and colorful. The tall grasses and flowers dance with the wind, unaware of the countless grasshoppers, butterflies, and mice that romp and prey among them. Dark green birds are circling above the walls and cliffs, arguing in tongues unknown to humans. With every breath, you take in the summer in its dusk, the drying ground, and the promise of rainfalls, as well as the pinching smoke coming from the fire set in the center of the village, cutting the horizon like a column weaved from shadows. As time goes on, the old man's walking pace slows down, observing the lands around you with great interest. His keen eyes stop on the trees, bushes, and flowers, though it's the crops on the plateau that make him stop for a bit. After a minute or two, he speaks. The plants want to fall. They need nay more than 2 rains. The farmers need to come out right after dawn. He doesn't look at your lips, but turns around and approaches the second ascent, once again slowing down to climb it without your help. I tether Soda Pop to the fence so it can graze on the meadow. Over here. The man awaits at the gate and reaches out to you. You give him the bag that he gave you back at his shelter. You do not have to stay away, but it will not be pleasant, he sighs. I'll come out soon and we'll leave this place right away. The village may be cured, but that does not mean that the plague is cleansed. We can still be infected. He raises his red staff and uses it to knock on the gate. You don't wait long for the dark-eyed woman to open the peephole. This time, there are not that many people around her. Let me in, says the druid. The peephole closes right away. After a few loud minutes of moving the wooden bars, the gate opens slightly. You have a couple of moments to look around. The few buildings you notice are unlike anything you've seen in this province, made of materials that resemble the rock faces seen on this very hill, with tiled roofs and stone walls. The gate closes gently. So, do we stay near the gate, or do we walk away to have a better look? 1 or 2, chat. What shall we do? I am leaving it up to all of you. Indeed, Wonder Fairy. Indeed. We have a vote for 2, a better look. What does the rest of chat want to do? Winter Fairy says 2 as well. All right then. The 2s have it. I will walk away and have a better look. You return to your mount and put a hand on its side. It blows air from its nose, noticing your attention, but is way too focused on chewing to raise its head. The only sounds come from the grass, insects, birds. Suddenly, you notice a beam of green light coming from the village, as well as a strong gust of wind that ends in complete silence. The druid staggers out through the gate, exhausted. Do we walk to him or do we stay away? Remember, we can still be infected by the plague. And he was just inside. Though, if he took the correct precautions, he probably will be fine. 1 or 2 chat, which shall we do? I'm counting on all of you. 1 is walk, 2 is stay. Numbers or keywords in the chat, and that is what we'll do with the consensus. Dragoon has started the vote with walk to him. Winter Fairy has agreed, so the ones are in the lead if anyone else wants to weigh in. If there is a compelling reason why I should stay away, feel free to make it known. Looks like walking to him is the consensus, so we will walk to him. When he sees your steps, he gestures for you to stop. With a weak smile hidden in the corners of his eyes, he kneels and leans forward, breathing heavily. Ooh, we finally get the rest of the art of Old Pagos. Beautiful. He opens his bag, pulling out the weird fruit that you gave him. With shaking hands, he detaches the first slice of its skin, but before you take a good look at it, it turns into a gray powder and slips through the man's fingers. The rest of the fruit follows its example, covering the soil with an ash-like dust. The thing that remains resembles yet another fruit or a cherry-sized seed, levitating in the middle of a floral rib cage. The man observes it for a few breaths, then reaches for it with 2 fingers, squishing it softly, and puts it into his mouth. During the next minute, he gets up, grins at you, dusts off his knees, and takes a few steps forward, which turn into dance-like skipping. He then descends from the hill without a word. You hear the joyful calls of the villagers, their hysterical laughter and names screamed at the sky, welcoming those who have woken after a long dream. We will leave them to their celebrations. I prepare my horse and follow the druid. For the first hour, the elder swings his staff around like a conjurer in the marketplace and hums to himself like a drunkard. His walking pace remains stable. As time goes on, this frenzied state fades out. At first, he returns to using his staff, then gives you his bag. He looks down, hobbling, and finally asks you for help. We will get him into the saddle. You help the man dismount, realizing how light he actually is. Holding your shoulder, he points at the bench near the spring. You help him sit down and place his staff and bag nearby. He's smiling, covered by sunbeams, stretching out his legs, leaning back to rest on the warm rocks. You've done a good job, he says quietly, but clearly. Now all we can do is hope they'll stop cutting down the trees before the wild creatures push them into the sea. After a moment, he opens his eyes and looks at your lips. How do we respond? Do we say thank you for your assistance? Do we say, I'm still not sure why you decided to aid them, they're not your allies? Or do we remain silent? 1, 2, or 3, chat, what is it going to be? I leave it to all of thee. 1 is thank you, 2 is why, 3 is silent. Sorry, Awkward, I didn't expect to see you today. You've played the game 4 times. I'm sure you've seen it before. There's always the VOD later as well. But it looks like we have 2 votes for 1. Thank you for your assistance. Do you want to weigh in? Sorry, Awkward. I hope your travels are going well. As well. Everyone wants to be polite. We like to be polite in this house. Awesome. All right. I thank you for your assistance. And thank you. 'Tis one of those strange things that make us different from so many creatures. We may nay belong to a single pack, yet we've joined our strength, pursued the same goals. He looks at his small garden. Saved the lives of others just because we could. Our souls do make me wonder. He sighs. I want to get some sleep. If you need anything before you leave, now is the time. All right. Well, he finally trusts us enough so we can ask about the ruined village. Yes. Actually, interestingly enough, that is incorrect. Scientifically speaking, you catch more flies with vinegar than honey. You can catch flies with either. More to the point. Flies like flies like things that are decomposing. That's why they like trash and sweat, and because vinegar is kind of a chemical decomposition sort of deal, they actually do prefer vinegar over honey because honey is sickly sweet. And I mean, as much as flies are like the scent of food in general, vinegar over honey. Yeah, you can even check. leave out vinegar and leave out honey outside and see which one has more flies in it in the end, and you'll find out that the vinegar does it every time. So flies are part of how things decompose, so more their bag. Anyways, we're going to ask about the ruined village because hopefully we will learn more. Yeah, I don't really know where the saying came from. I actually think that it's probably one of those that it comes from a longer, like, double phrase saying that has been corrupted over time in its simplification, but you'd have to Google it. I don't know offhand. Anyway, I deserve to know what happened to the ruined village. He lowers his head, but keeps looking at your lips. And what do you think happened? So the last time we were asked this was by the innkeeper of Pell to the North, and we said humans used monsters to destroy it. That was our answer this last time. What answer will we give this time? For those of you who are not subscribed to me yet, you'll have an ad in about 30 seconds or so. So it's incoming ad, just so you know. I like to give advanced warning of the ads because I feel bad for having to have them, but that's the grind, guys. Trying to make a living at Twitch is sort of, ads are a must. But we could say that it was raided by humans. It's all humans, but we know for a fact that there were animals involved. There's definitely marks of claws and stuff like that. We could say that it was destroyed during the Wrath of the Herds. We have heard that a Wrath of Herds sort of thing came through. We could say that it was pillaged by humans and then destroyed by monsters, or the other way around, it was attacked by beasts and then finished off by humans. Or lastly, humans used monsters to destroy it. So chat, 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. Which do we think this time? What answer will we be? Dragoon has already started the vote with a 3. What does the rest of chat think? Feel free to vote while the ad runs. Yes, sorry, Awkward. I know you know the answer. You can still vote, though. Which mixture, Winter Fairy? Humans then monsters, monsters then humans, or humans who used monsters? So 3, 4, or 5? Dragoon started the vote with 3, but because remember, the last time we were asked this question, we voted 5. Humans used monsters to destroy it. Do we want to continue with that? That's for you to decide. The rest of chat, of course. Winter Fairy votes 5. So I have a vote of 3 and I have a vote of 5. Now that the ad is done, I have a vote of 3 and I have a vote of 5. Does anyone else want to weigh in with the tiebreaker between the two? Welcome back, Dragoon. We haven't actually decided this yet. I let the ad run. Take care, Sorry Awkward. I hope you're enjoying your vacation or whatever it is that you're up to. Have fun today. Thank you for dropping in. I expected not to hear from you, so bye, Sorry. It's always good to see a friendly face. So yes, we have a vote for 3 and a vote for 5. If we get a tiebreaker in chat, that would be preferred. Otherwise, I will have to make this decision. Yeah, I know. Sorry Awkward is great. It very much the hashtag sorry not sorry meme. But in a truly lovable way. Well, seeing as I do not have a tiebreaker in chat, apparently, I guess I'm gonna go with what we voted for her last time, just for consistency's sake. Humans used monsters to destroy it. He lets out a quiet sigh. Nay, soul in the north holds this kind of power. Okay, so we have another option. All right. Well, since the only other vote was number 3, I will try that one instead. It was pillaged by humans, then destroyed by monsters. He lowers his head. Yes, you see our shame. Okay, so now we know more of the story. It was pillaged by humans and then destroyed by monsters. Ooh. Now, last week, Trav, who is not currently here today, unfortunately, real life involved in that one, but he posited that maybe Howler's Dell had something to do with the fall of the ruined village. Interesting. All right, well, we don't really have anything more to do here. Interesting. What can we do? Ooh, we've finished some stuff. We could go back. You know what? I'm gonna go back to Howler's Dell. I'm gonna go buy that plant, and we're gonna make our way to Eudocia with the plant because that's what she wanted. But we're gonna go via the middle tomorrow. So we're gonna go sleep at Howler's Dell. How much time? We have 7 hours though. What are we gonna do before? Let's check the steep real quick. Just to deal with that. There's nothing else we could do here. Okay. We don't have a fish trap. We could go buy more fish traps, I suppose. But no, we need a Kikos. Apologies for the barking in the background. Dixie is letting us know that there are people near the house. Oh, hey, we've got stuff to talk about. Cool. Once you're done with the unpacking, 3 armed men show up behind. Their gamisons are tightly fastened, eyes grim. She wants to see you, says the man with a braided beard. He's holding a large stone mace, and you'll come now. So we could ask, you mean Theus? We could ask Elpis, or after you then, because it doesn't particularly matter which person has went to fetch us. 1, 2, or 3, chat. What's it gonna be? Theus, Elpis, or after you? Winter Fairy said 3. That is the most diplomatic answer. Dragoon says 1. Dragoon wants to ask some questions. Anybody else want to weigh in? Because if somebody else doesn't weigh in on this, I will have to make decisions, and I will guilt everybody. Not that it ever works, but, you know, I play this game with you guys for a reason. Otherwise, I would just play it by myself, quiet, never streaming. No one would ever know I exist. This does not mean that anyone has to flip their vote. Please don't misunderstand. I'm just teasing you guys. Aw, Dragoon, you're sweet. I mean, I do D&D with you, like, twice a week now. Well, once a week and once every other week, so sometimes twice a week. But, like, you wouldn't know about the game. Dragon! Always happy to see you, Dragon. I'm sure you're busy, but thank you for coming. Look who's in my chat, Dragon. Dragoon is with us. Dragoon got to hang out with us today. I'm gonna go with number 1. Actually, no, I'm gonna go with number 2, because nobody was tie-breaking, and that was not picked. So, Elpis? He exchanges surprised looks with the other guards. His voice is harsh. Why would she? The mayor, of course. Leave your weapon here. He nods towards Soda Pop. Seems like I don't have a choice. Oh, somebody's mad. You're surrounded by curious glances and worried whispers. Theus is in her usual spot, holding a mug with both hands. She doesn't have to say a thing. The dining neighbors get on their feet and leave the square, without bothering with their plates. Erix enters the building. Akiko heads towards the tiny islet. Excluding the guards, who watch your every step, you two are alone. She waves her hand and you get pushed onto a stool, almost hitting the ground. Forgive us all these precautions, she says with a thick local accent, observing you with piercing green eyes. But I'm not sure who you are. Not an ally, not a threat. Her pale fingers are tapping on the wood, yet her face is like a statue. How do we explain ourselves to this woman so full of her own authority that she's decided to pick on an old respected druid and us, the Roadwarden? Do we say, 1, I'm a Roadwarden. The people of Old Pagos called for help and I answered. May they keep their scrap of land safer for the sake of us all. 2, I was just pursuing my goals. It doesn't need to affect our common efforts. Or 3, I wouldn't forgive myself for sacrificing this many lives. You can spare 1 magic fruit for them, Theus. 1, 2, or 3, chat. What will it be? People, goals, or sacrifice? People, goals, sacrifice. 1, 2, or 3. Dragon starts off the vote with 1, people. Which is entirely true. Like, none of these are incorrect. In fact, to be fair, all of them are. Winter Fairy agrees with Dragon. The ones are in the lead. Anybody else in chat want to weigh in? As always, the vote in chat is optional. And don't get me wrong, I love my lurkers. So lurkers, don't feel like you have to weigh in just because I keep calling for votes. You guys are the best. Dragoon says calling them out that they were willing to sacrifice people might get you killed. So yeah, 1. I mean, technically speaking, 1 and 3 are both calling them out, but 1 is the far, far more polite version of the calling out. 2 or 3 is very much a, excuse me, you were just gonna let a whole bunch of people die? Which, yeah. So, I'm a Roadwarden. The people of Old Pagos called for help and I answered. May they keep the land safer for the sake of us all. Your view of the peninsula is off. You can nay help us all, yet stay on the side. When some of us gain, others lose. You took away our treasure, and now one of us will die because of it. A sick elder, a weak child, a hunter who can't be healed with a spell. Her eyes narrow and keep piercing through your skull. Would you push one of us from a cliff to save another village? How about killing me? How many lives am I worth? Oh boy. Yeah, that's exactly, Dragon. Hey, I told Automon to be nice. You're fine. Just give me a mo. So, to answer that, we could say if I had no other choice than to decide, I would, which is 1. 2 is murdering someone would not be the same thing. Or 3, have mercy on me, Theus. I was meant to deliver messages, kill goblins, and escort travelers. I take no pleasure in making these decisions. 1, 2, or 3. Decide, murder, mercy. Winter Fairy says 3, mercy. Dragon says 2, murder. Feeling a little sarcastic. Dragoon agrees with Dragon, murder. Pointing out that pushing people off cliffs is not at all the same thing as for the next year you have to be slightly more cautious with your people and take care of them. I'm gonna agree with 2. We're gonna point out the flaw in her little argument by saying murdering someone would not be the same thing. Your inner voice may say so, but to those who you have hurt, the result is the same. Her voice rises slightly. Not only do you claim to have the right to make such calls, you make them from your weakness, nay, from conviction. When she realizes that her fingernails are scratching the wood, she hides her hands under the table. So this is it. You took our treasure, thinking 'twas not a big deal, and I and the others, she runs her eyes over the people who are staying at the edge of the square, will have to pay for it. You're not to be trusted. If you say so. I'm not petty, Sauron. She returns to the accent of the city folk. You can still enjoy your stay at our lovely village, she says with a sigh, and then puts on her usual smile, with a hint of a smirk. We can still use your services. You may be a stranger, but at least you carry dragon bones. The guard pushes you away, and the other people read it as a sign. They get back to their tasks and meals, avoiding your eyes, and the air gets lighter. I look around. You approach the inn. The stools and benches are filled. People share meals and news and plans for later. The air is lively and filled with soothing routine. The innkeeper's walking among the tables cheerfully, taking care of empty bowls and plates or bringing new servings from inside the building. Theus is sitting in her chair, sharing a meal with a couple of fancy-looking folks. The stall is in perfect order, but draws little of the locals' attention. The trader walks around gossiping. Whenever someone approaches the counter, he moves back quickly. Pyros is nearby, talking quietly with the innkeeper. Let's go to Pyros. Nope, he has nothing to say. All right, Akikos, we've got things. What do you have for sale? We are taking this. We are buying this. All right, we're out. Nothing for now. I walk away. That's all we came for, really. You're wandering through the village. A group of laughing villagers is chasing after a runaway hawk. You smell the pleasant aroma of ground herbs as well as freshly baked bread. Let's go see what Elpis has to say. Interesting. You enter the building site, which has changed quite a bit since the last day of your visit. Elpis is standing in the middle of the yard, surrounded by her companions, yet she needs a few breaths to collect her thoughts. We are glad to see you, Roadwarden. Her eyes make you think of a sky just after a heavy rain. This forest speaker had put us into shame, and we've discussed his words and deeds. Her voice is slow, but you catch its hesitation. We're grateful that the village of Old Pagos will share the next summer with us. The lack of the seed will be a burden, but it will bring us to brighter days. That's fair, Dragoon, but our character is a person who just wants to help all the people. Oh, hey, sorry, Awkward. I thought you'd wandered off already. Yeah, she's kind of an ambitious meanie. Like, I get where she's coming from, but at the same time, she is in the wrong. We didn't kill anyone in her village by taking the seed for a year. It just means that her village will have to be slightly more cautious, slightly more considerate of the ill and the injured and all that jazz. They still have healers amongst their midst, and she's just being petty bitch, which is fine. Yeah, no, I understand, Dragoon, but it's like, we're not going to be petty back at her. We are going to tell her that murdering someone is absolutely not the same, though. Considering what I did for Old Pagos, don't you think I'm worthy of your healing abilities? She smiles gently. You deserve the help of spirits. She leans her staff forward, pointing at you with its top, but it'll only happen when I see you barely standing. To stay strong, one should eat, sleep, and rest. We need no immediate healing, but at the very least, we are still welcome by Elpis and the druids here in Howler's Dell, and they will heal us. So that's good. Farewell. I believe we might have... No, we have enough money to buy fancy clothes or upgrade our gamison, but that takes all of our money, and we have other things we need to buy. So, no. We are going to go elsewhere. I do not want to sleep here. It's expensive. To heck with them. Could get to Foggy's in time and sleep. Oh, wait. We need to go to Eudocia. So we actually need to go to North or the Abandoned Watchtower. We might actually be able to make the Abandoned Watchtower. Yeah, we are absolutely able to get to the Abandoned Watchtower. We'll see Eudocia in the morning and head through the center. That's what we're doing. Yes, I'm well aware, Dragon, but it's a group consensus thing. You take a short ride through the roads surrounding the tower. The branches, rocks, plants, and bones are cleared. The trail evened out, and in many spots you notice large prints left by the boulder-like feet. Eudocia has kept her word. Crossing these hills should be much easier now. Nice. The watchtower is blending in with the wilderness slowly. You're surrounded by the thunderous hum of trees. The blue and black birds are carrying small sticks, leaves, and grass in their beaks and move these spoils to the roof. We don't have any meat in our inventory, so we don't need to go to the campfire spot. We can just enter the tower. You're on the ground floor of the watchtower. It's weirdly quiet here, and you see almost no movement. So now, since it's like a half an hour till dusk, we're just gonna sleep. We're good here. We're gonna sleep. The pallet is far from fresh, but with your cape, it's going to be soft. The thick walls will protect you from the wind and monsters. With Astron's cloak, you could fall into a long, deep sleep. and sleep we shall. You wake up in silence, barely hearing the wind outside the tower walls. You gather your things and climb down to see where Soda Pop is napping. You walk it outside, allowing it to graze on the grass for half an hour. You place all your writing equipment on it and check your belongings. Thankfully, you find no signs of bugs, because we took care of the bug problem. So yeah, we are now going to go to Eudocia and give her the plant. You touch the cold shell. The monster's eyes glow red. Sauron, come inside. I wouldn't mind a bit of company. The golems let you in. Wow, she's much nicer now. You let Soda Pop loose, but no soul shows up to greet you. The door of the house is ajar. I go inside. Oh, her house is so cute. Look at that. The chamber was meant to have only one dweller, but even in Havlavin, it would be seen as outrageously tiny. The air carries the scent of sweat and dirty clothes, but more importantly, smoke. A couple of fish and other pieces of meat are hanging above the hearth, even though there's no fire left. Eudocia is sitting on the floor, with her back leaning against the wooden step, legs outstretched, feet resting on a wooden pillar. She's staring intensely at a hot liquid in a wooden bowl in her hands. Do we greet her first, or do we wait her to say something, seeing as she seems to be busy? 1 or 2, chat. What shall we do? Greet or wait? 1 or 2. You guys tell me. Dragoon says 1. Greet her. Winterberry also says 1. The ones are in the lead. Anybody else want to weigh in? Well, the people of Skyrim are a rough and tumble bunch, Dragon. At least half of them understand being rough and tumble. Dragon also says 1. The ones win the vote, so we will greet her first. She nods, but doesn't look at you. The house is a mess. If it bothers you, complain to the broth I made. A long pause. Take a seat if you want. It's getting chilly outside, and you don't act like a bandit. So far, if you need a place to crash, stay in my shed. Just don't carry any candles inside. I store hay there. Oh wow, we've gained her trust enough to sleep at her place. I mean, granted, not with her, but at her place. You vote not to give her the plant. Interesting. Sorry, awkward. I'm sorry that the internet is terrible there, so good luck. Do we sit down as far away from her as we can on the stool? Do we rest next to her on the floor? Do we place do we take a place on the wooden step near the fireplace? Do we sit down on her bed, or do we stay in the entrance? 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. Stool, floor, step, bed, entrance. Dragon has already started the vote with the floor. Dragoon has voted for the steps. One, 2, 3, 4, or 5. Stool, floor, step, bed, entrance. Tell me, chat, tell me true. Which decision shall we do? I'm just counting on all of you. Winterfairy also says 2. I guess we will be nice, or intimate, I should say, platonically so, and rest next to her on the floor. She nudges you with an elbow. Just don't get weird. So what do you want? You should know the plague of Old Pagos is no more. You tell her about your deeds, and she stares into the distance without so much as a gesture and doesn't ask you a single question. It takes her a minute to form a few words. So there was no hope for them, but now it's there for others. Thank you. Let's trade. Just spirit rocks. Okay, don't need that. Maybe it's the right time to offer her work in the city. Interesting. Sorry, Awkward says not to give her the plant. And yet we have the plant and we have brought it for her. She wants the plant. I will talk about work in the city. You glance at her absent eyes. She has shown you signs of trust, but you won't convince her with just a smile. The more you'll learn about the peninsula, the more argument you'll have at your disposal. Are we not ready yet, or do we have something important to discuss? Interesting. One or two, chat. Which shall we do? Are we not ready yet to discuss working in the city, or do we want to discuss it now? This is not an option we've had before. We know a lot about these things. One or two, chat. Which shall we do? Ready? Not ready or discuss? Not ready or discuss? One or two. I have an ad incoming in about a minute, by the way, for those of you who are not subbed. You have as much information on this as I do at this point, Dragoon. I think at one point we asked her why she doesn't offer things more often, but for the most part, like, we can decide to wait on this. Like a couple of days ago, Dragon. You've just not been around for a couple of days because you've been busy. So yeah, I hit affiliate last week, end of last week. Thursday, I think. Ad is starting soon for those of you who I warn. I even have channel points now. It's fun. You don't have to, Dragoon. It's optional, obviously, but it would be appreciated. The support is always appreciated. I just have ads for those who don't, so it's up to you guys. I just try to warn about the ads. They do suck. That's why I warn. No worries, Dragon. Thank you for the congratulations. Good luck with the ads. All right, sub chat. Since everybody else is in an ad right now for a minute and a half, what are we doing? Are we just not gonna do this yet, or are we gonna dive in head first because this is a blind playthrough and we're just having fun here? Oh, dragon. All right, welcome back, non-subs. Since nobody put in a vote for maybe it's the right time to offer her work in the city, we have decided to deal with it another time. But we did bring the flowers, so we're gonna do this. Her eyes widen as she moves closer to you, and I've got your dragons here. Her outstretched hand is shaking. How about 8? So we could negotiate or give her the flower. I believe we were going to get 5. But we could negotiate for more. You don't have to sub, Dragon. I understand that finances are tight. It's optional. I, of course, would appreciate the support. Seeing as I'm not sub to your channel, though, there's no need. I would feel bad because I don't have the money to sub to you either, which is sad. So it is optional, even though it is absolutely 100% very, very dear anyone who supports me. I appreciate the support so much. Dragoon says, just get paid. Aw, Dragon, you're sweet. So, negotiate or get paid, 1 or 2. Chat, what are we doing here? Negotiating or getting paid? Dragon says also, just get paid. All right, we are not negotiating. We're just gonna get paid. Here you go. Fine job, she says quietly, examining the petals carefully. Well, I don't know what that's gonna do, and sorry Awkward told us not to, but we're doing it anyway. So, that's another quest done. Check. We have so much time of the day. We're leaving this off for later. We don't need any spirit stones. Let's go outside. Where are we headed? We need to go here. Into the woodland edge. We must go through the forest, where things get dangerous. You look at the boulder. On its surface, a fresh bloodstain holds a few yellow feathers. Ooh. I am going to return to the cairn in the middle of the forest, because we're not trying to just get through, we're trying to find the things that are in here. You're standing at the ford, still as challenging for travelers as it was when you found it. The light dances on the surface of the stream, and the gentle breeze surrounds you with a calming rustle of leaves. So, we could spend some time gathering larger rocks and throwing them in the water to help make the ford a little easier. We could ignore it for now, or we could ignore it for always. Just don't bother. If we spend the time to gather large rocks and making this ford easier, we make the path through the heart of the forest easier to traverse. If we ignore it for always, we let the heart of the forest overtake this path, which is technically a shortcut from the east to the west. Or we could just simply ignore it for now like we did last time. 1, 2, or 3 chat, what's it going to be? Gathering for now or for always. Those are the key words. Gathering for now or for always. 1, 2, or 3. Remember, the last 2 options are to ignore it. Do we make the path easier for travelers, or do we leave it as is? Dragoon says 1, make it easier. This means that we will spend some time here, and we might get attacked, but we may not. Winterfrey also says 1, which means the 1s are in the lead. Anybody else in chat want to weigh in on this matter? Dragon also says 1. The 1s win. All right, we're building this fort. Here we go. How long do we spend on it? 15 minutes, half an hour, 45 minutes, an hour should be enough to cover at least half of the gaps. This is an ongoing project, obviously. So, how much time do we spend in one place, off our horse, in a dangerous area? 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. 15, 30, 45, 60, or go. Dragoon says half an hour. Number 2. That is the starting of the vote. 1 is 15, 2 is 30, 3 is 45, 4 is 60. 5 is go. Run, run, run. Leave. Flee. Hide. Winter Fairy also says 30 minutes. So the 2s are in the lead. Anybody else want to weigh in? Well, it looks like the 2s have it. We will spend half an hour on this. You let Soda Pop graze and drink by the stream. You wander along the edge of the dark forest on one side and a colorful meadow on the other, and seek rocks smaller than your head. Carrying them makes you tire quickly. After you're done, you hardly recognize the rocks you just brought here. Can I eat? No. Okay. We can work some more, or have we decided enough is enough, we're leaving? Work or leave, work or leave. We're not in a bad place. Just we have to decide. Work or leave. Winter Fairy says 1. Work more, please. What does the rest of chat want to do? Dragoon says 2. Leave, run, flee, before they find you. Does anyone else in chat want to break the tie? 1 or 2. Whichever is the consensus, that's what I'll do. Because remember, chat, I will attempt to guilt you if I have to break the tie. Okay? Dragon also 2. All right, we're out. We out. You're near the same part of the forest where you encountered the corpse-eating beast. The rocky hills are green with colorful flowers and the lively buzzing of insects. You seek any threats hidden in the tall grass. You notice a single soul standing at a distant rock ledge. They call you with a gesture. Do we stop our horse to look, or it must be a trap, I get out of here? Look or leave? Look or leave? 1 or 2? Though, to be fair, they've called us with a gesture, and the awakened dead do not do that, even if they've been awakened by the fogs. This could, however, be a bandit ambush. We do know that Glaucia's band is somewhere in here. So, 1 or 2. Look or leave. Chat, what are we doing? Please help me. Decisions are hard. But while you guys about that, I'm more ASMR. Not quite as good as the first time around. Dragoon says 1. Looky-loo, we should see what there is to see. What does the rest of the chat think? believe Winterfairy also says leave. Reminder, if I have to break the ties, bad things happen. Dragoon also says look. Alright, whom do I see? It's a man in unlaced black gameston, covering a simple cloth shirt. He has the short dark hair of a laborer, neither tall nor short. You see no weapons. He's standing near the entrance to a cave and keeps looking around. Even once he looks back at you, he gestures no more, just waits. Helping out a lost traveler is part of a Roadwarden's job. I dismount and lead Sodapop up the hill is option 1. Option 2 is it must be a trap. Let's get out of Dodge. Looks like Dragon has said trap, but help or trap, 1 or 2. Tell me, chat, tell me true. What is it that we will do? Rhyme intended. The vote has been started with 2. Winterfairy agrees with 2. Look, we decided to go look, but to be frank, we are in the heart of the forest. If they are not wearing a gameston, they're gonna be dead unless they're just running through. Like, shit gets real in here. So I'm not actually concerned that they're wearing armor. Everyone seems sus to you, Dragon. Everyone. I seem sus to you. And as Dragoon knows, I am sus most of the time, but granted, it's usually not me. Too many games of Goose Goose Duck. Lies. That's not true, Dragoon. You always know when it's me. You always know. I'm overriding. I'm gonna go see what's up. We have to find people in this area anyways. Let's go. That's not true, Dragon. I've seen you survive to the end. You just tend to, like, not do things that will keep your survival rate up high. That's all I'm saying. Anyway. It nickers, happy to rest in lush grass. After you reach the crag, the man is crouching at its edge, observing your surroundings. His clean-shaved face tells you of sadness, but also acceptance. His elbows are resting on his knees, hands clenched together. A gentle wind brings you to the smell of soap. He can't be older than 30. So, do we observe him keenly, not willing to take any risks, or do we follow his lead, taking a deep breath and observing the meadow and the trees? Do we observe the man or the meadow? Man or the meadow? It's less about you being too trusting, Dragon, and more about you staying in one place too long. Goose Goose Duck is a game about not staying in place long enough to get killed. But we're not playing that. We're playing Roadwarden by Moral Anxiety Games. So let's stick to that, shall we? The vote started off with a 1, and Winterfairy also said 1, so the 1s are in the lead. We shall observe the man. I know you well, Dragon. we may not have been friends for long, but I know you well. Anyways, we are going to observe the man keenly, because he's looking out for the problems. We'll just follow his lead. The man frowns at your stare, but doesn't return it. He has a symmetrical, handsome face. Healthily tanned, skin free of scars or blotches. The blue eyes of a sage and a muscular figure. In Havlavin, he would be a perfect fruit for a group of actors. He could play an emperor or a hero from Wright's tablets, or a commander or an evil rich merchant. Finally, he scoffs. I've seen you before, I did. His words are close to a whisper. To your left, there's indeed a good view of the lone tree. You were riding from that furless wolf like you had the runs in your ass. A monstrosity, right? And tastes like a fist of worms? He pauses. The man speaks slowly. His voice is thoughtful, contemptuous, and a bit taunting. Don't worry about the corpse. I torched it soon after you left. The wolf hadn't left much meat. So, do we get judgmental and say, maybe next time you could try to help a stranger in need instead of just watching? Or do we say, and what are you doing here? 1 or 2, chat, which shall we do? I'm counting on all of you to tell me. Dragoon says 2. Ask questions that are not judgmental. That's the start of the vote. Winter Fairy agrees. Ask questions that are not judgmental. Am I subtly or perhaps not so subtly influencing the vote to not be a dick? Maybe. I mean, our whole bag is helping people, and I unfortunately misclicked through that particular confrontation. So I was having mouse issues. I've since replaced my mouse because it was being unreliable and I needed it to be reliable. So I feel bad because I could have made a different choice in that and I didn't, and we ran away from it. But at the very least, we know that there's not going to be an awakened corpse from the fogs running around. But it looks like the 2s have it. So, and what are you doing here? Planning, mostly. Catching birds, resting. Beasts have nothing to look for in this cave. It's small. His tone shifts to a more casual one. Right. Tell me, stranger, you know of a place where I could spend a few nights? He straightens up and for the first time looks you in the eyes. We could say, yeah, I know of one. We could say, care to introduce yourself? We could say, are you hiding from someone? We could say, I've heard about some bandits. Any ideas where I can find them? We could say, it's a dangerous place, these woods. Do you have any tips on how to stay alive here? Or lastly, we could say, did you take a look at the corpse, the one the furless wolf was feasting on? I wonder who what was. Of course, we could also say, I don't know where you can find a shelter, farewell, but that will end the conversation. I do not know if this is a conversation where we will get to ask the majority of these questions, or whether this is a you can ask once and you have a lot to choose from situation. Both of those types of things are in this game. And unfortunately, none of the people I know who've played this game before and helped me with hints and stuff along the way are here to tell me which is which. So, if they even remember. So, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 7. But if you pick 7, I will probably ignore your vote. Because I don't want to necessarily end this conversation early if I can help it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. Yes, introduce, hiding, bandits, dangerous, or corpse. Dragoon starts the vote off with 2. Winter Fairy agrees. Hey, introduce yourself. Seems to be in the lead. What does the rest of chat think? For those of you who are not lurking. I mean, you're welcome to lurk. I appreciate you all. Just saying. No worries, Winter Fairy. Good luck with the laundry. I actually have to get to that at some point today myself, so I totally feel ya. But have a great day. Thank you for being around. We're actually going to go an hour longer today, so if you finish your laundry and want to come back, feel free. Looks like the 2s have it. Care to introduce yourself? All right. He chuckles. I ain't sure how to do such a thing. Not sure at all. I want to pick a new name first. Something that goes well with my eyes. Interesting. It looks like we can ask multiple things. So I'm just going to start asking questions. Are you hiding from someone? Ain't we all, stranger? He looks around. Most wolves and dragonlings. Did you take a look at the corpse, the one the furless wolf was feasting on? I wonder who that was. Well, I may know a little something about them, he smirks. Help me find a new shelter and maybe I'll tell you a thing or two about what I saw. All right, I know of a shelter where you could stay. I'm all ears. So, we could direct them to the dolmen. We could direct them to an abandoned cabin that we cleared a spider out of. We could direct them to Foggy's Lake and Foggy themselves. We could direct them to Pell to the north. We could direct them to one of the villages. Or we could say, you sound like you're from Gale Rocks. Why don't you stay there? Or do we need to think about it? Yeah, he deflected hard on the hiding. He's definitely hiding from someone. But we don't know who. Blue eyes. Hold on. I'm having an inkling. That doesn't have it, so let's go to here. Short but broad-shouldered, red hair and beard, pale. Where's male? Okay, not this guy. Not this guy. That's what I was looking for, was that, but we do not know who this is. This blue-eyed, dark-haired person. So where do we want to tell him to go? The dolmen, the cabin, I should say, the empty dolmen, the spider cabin, Foggy's place, Pell to the north, village, or Gale Rocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. Because again, 7 is just delaying the inevitable. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. Dolmen, spider cabin, Foggy, Pell to the north, village, Gale Rocks. Dragoon has started the vote with 6 Gale Rocks. What does the rest of chat want to do? Alright, I guess we're calling this guy out. You sound like you're from Gale Rocks. Why don't you stay there? He doesn't answer you at first, looking at you keenly. No. Okay, then. I'm gonna make a decision, because I feel like it. Can't you stay in one of the villages? He smiles. I need some time without their gossip and noise. Interesting. Okay, 1 through 4, chat. Dolmen, spider cabin, Foggies, or Pell to the north. Foggies or Pelt. Dolmen, spider cabin, Foggies, or Pelt. 1, 2, 3, or 4. What shall we suggest next? Now, if he's trying to stay away from the gossip, the dolmen or the cabin are the ways to go, because there's nobody else there. Foggy might not gossip. Foggy, we've seen Foggy give someone who needed it a new start. Lasson of Pell to the North might not gossip either. He doesn't seem to be one who wants to gossip. So, 1, 2, 3, or 4. Where shall we send this person who clearly is from Gale Rocks? Yeah, I don't know who this is. I don't think we've necessarily run into a reference to them. Interesting. Is chat leaving this up to me? This decision? Goodness. Well, then I'm going to suggest Foggy's. Foggy Lake is a safe tavern. He tilts his head and looks away, considering your suggestion. Right, but I have no coins, almost, and Foggy doesn't have that many rooms. Alright. Well, then we only have the dolmen and the cabin now. Spider cabin. I'm not going to suggest the dolmen, just because I don't think that would be good for this person. The cabin actually probably will be exactly what they're looking for. So I'm going to make this decision. Yeah, no worries, Dragon. Food is important. For those of you who are not subbed, you have an ad in roughly 30 seconds. So, more or less. Just let you know. I'm actually going to say you'll reach a wooden cabin and suggest the wooden cabin, because at least they'll have some sort of setup there that will help them. But is it safe? Last time I was there, the entrance was closed. It was. A large spider was inside, but I took care of it. Still, better be careful. He smirks and turns into a bright smile. Cheers, stranger. Look for me there in a day or so. I'll have something to say that you'll want to hear. Oh, okay. Time for me to leave. We killed it. Scooters be dead. Something. I'm going to wait out the ad for those of you who are a subscriber and still here, hanging out. Whether you're lurking or not, I'm going to wait out the ad. I will give the subs who are here, who are lurking away, my thoughts on this guy. I don't know who this is. We figured out that he's likely from Gale Rocks, and I don't remember anyone who was necessarily missing from Gale Rocks. So that's interesting. He's clearly running from a past or something, but it's interesting. We will have to find out what's going on with this guy in a day or two when we go and visit him at the cabin. I'm kind of glad that we were able to clear out the cabin. I think that will be much more comfortable for him than the dolmen in the south. There's nothing particularly wrong with the dolmen. It's just more one of those things where you stay there overnight because you have nowhere else to go. And the only reason why we don't have the option to stay there is because our horse does not fit inside. That's it. It doesn't fit through the door. It's a gigantic horse. So I'm intrigued. Very intrigued. Welcome back, non-subs. I just spent the ad discussing with the subs who are listening what I think about this stranger. So you have not missed anything outside of my opinion, which I rarely give. So maybe it's an incentive to sub so that you can hear all the things that I say. Anyways, right, he eagerly nods. But keep our meeting between the two of us, won't you? There are those who like to hunt down lonely drifters and take every scrap of silver they have. I don't need any of that. Cheers, stranger. As you walk away, you're more than sure that he's observing each step of yours. Me and Soda Pop go downhill and continue our journey. Interesting. He will tell us something in a couple of days. You pass a pile of guts and feathers, then a short but bloody trail. Cat prints. Ooh. Can we eat now? Please? Yes, we can eat. Yay. Okay. We're going to have to top up on rations at Pelt at some point soon, but we are now good. So do we want to dismount and follow the tracks west? Do we return to the meadow in the south, or do we ride to a different part of the forest? So, we were headed, I think, towards this. This is what we're headed towards. So that is where we are. Okay, cool. We want to dismount and follow the tracks to the west. That's why we came down to this place, because we are trying to find the bandits in the woods. You follow the familiar trail and reach the deeper wood easily. You get back in the saddle and ride uphill, following a convenient rocky trail covered in sunlight, cleared of plants. Once you get to the top, you look around. From here, you get a good view of the heart of the woods and spot the smoke coming from the villages far in the distance. The further path ends at the ravine. You look over the edge at the gentle brook far below. The hole is too wide to be crossed with a jump, even for Soda Pop. You narrow your eyes. On the other side is a simple bridge made of logs and ropes, now rolled up and resting by a green shrub. So, the fastest way across is to make a grappling hook out of rope and the curved bones, which is option number 1. Second fastest way across is, even though it may take a lot of time and effort, I could try to walk around the gully, or I don't have time for this, I turn around, which is what we did last time because we didn't have enough time in the day to really go through here. We were scared. Let's be honest. We were scared. So, 1, 2, or 3, chat. What will it be? I'm counting on all of thee to tell me what to do. Grappling hook, hook, gully, or get out of here, which I'm not going to go with get out of here because this is kind of where we're going. So it's really how fast do we want to get across this problem? Oh, Dragon, don't worry about it. Really, really. Dragon started the vote off with 1 grappling hook. Dragoon agreed. That's fair. So I believe out of all my active members, we will do number 1 because that's the consensus. Unless somebody else wants to weigh in on the vote suddenly out of nowhere. The ones have it. Da, 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 grappling hook. Here we go. After the 12th attempt, it gets stuck between the stems of the shrub. You put the loop around a conveniently placed rock and put away the unessential equipment, including the armor. Once your legs are swinging in the air, dozens of yards above the roaring water, you think about the warm beds and safe alleys of Hovlavin. Finally, you touch the other side. Your itching hands are red. I lift the wooden bridge and place it across the gully, then untie my rope. The trail is canopied by overhanging trees and so narrow that your mount would struggle to turn around. Staying on foot, you grab the lead rope and follow the corridor curved in the lush thicket. I try to ignore the scent of rotting leaves. Soon after, the path widens a bit. You notice a shell larger than your own torso. Its 8 legs are as long as you are tall, clinging to a tree that's on your way. You freeze. The dark, hairy thorax matches the browns of the plants. So, we can examine the spider from a safe distance, which will cause us to go into combat, and that is really the only way forward. Or we can turn around and go, nope, not today, no spider today. However, I will make note, we have 10.5 hours before dusk. We have come this way primarily because we are looking for the bandits, and this spider is in our way, so as much as Dragon would vote to run the F away, we are going to go into combat. That's the way forward, folks. You don't get to vote, I've already decided. Ha 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 ha. I get to push the buttons, so it's my choice. We are gonna look at them. What are you looking for? Paying attention to. Tree. The trees are young and lush, hardly reaching above the undergrowth and canopying the trail. The fallen twigs bark were pushed off the trail. spider. It's large enough to hunt for humans. Its 8 legs are long as you are tall, clinging to a tree that's on your way. The dark hairy thorax matches the browns of the plants. Okay, web. There's no web in sight. You're not sure how the spider manages to cling to the tree. Okay. I know arachnophobics, dragon. There are 2 responses to most that they have. One is run the F away, and 2 is burn it with fire, burn it all, burn it down. Death, destruction. There is literally no in between. I just happen to know that you're the run the F away version, unlike my sister who is the death, destruction, and fire. I actually dislike their webs way more. Is close to the tree. Head? Never seem to move. Not really sure what the key word that I'm looking for here is. Target? Nope. Yeah, this is, I mean, we know the bandits are in the area. This spider is probably not real. But we need the key word that will make it tell us that it's not real. Breathing. But neither abdomen nor fangs move at all. Okay. Abdomen. Nope. Fangs. Whoops. That was mistyped. Never seem to move. Okay. Eyes. Alive. Nope. Rope. Nope. I don't know. Oh shoot, I didn't mean to turn around. That's not what I wanted. Go back. Go back. Oh, apparently leaving and coming back allows us to do the thing that I wanted to do. Okay, soon after the path widens a bit, you notice a shell larger than your own torso. Blah, blah, blah. You freeze. So far, the spider hasn't moved an inch. I poke it with a stick. This is what I wanted to do. You step slowly, picking up a long branch resting at the side of the trail. Once you tap the abdomen, you let out a relieved sigh. You observe the spider's dried out shell. In such a humid place, you'd expect it to rot. Soda Pop pulls the lead, begging to turn around. The horse is like, no, I don't want to get near that thing. It's bad. Yeah, it did. It's just there to be ooky spooky. I comfort it with the sound of my voice. The path is beaten, yet your mount has to step over branches, large rocks, and even animal bones. While the trees aren't pruned, they grow sparse enough for you to have a good view of surroundings. A pile of rotting logs, the remains of food, and even a broken wagon rest at the feet of the crag. You look up. The palisade has a massive gap in it, which now serves as a vantage point for a person you can't see clearly. An arrow on their strung bow, and while they aren't aiming at you, they have enough time to shoot before you got off the saddle. "You've a horse," the masculine voice announces loudly, then stares at you. "I thought a mad deer was running, I did. Almost shot it in the nose." Another pause. "Who?" "Yeah, no, we all do, Dragon. I mean, I'm not arachnophobic. I'm hemophobic, but at the same time, no thank you. They can stay in the corners and out of sight, please." I shout back, "Salron, a Roadwarden." The archer crouches, as if watching you from too closer is going to make a difference. He shouts, but more so towards someone behind the wall. "Wait, another Roadwarden? Are you all of a family of suiciders or something? Head up, but I've got my eyes on you, I do." The hamlet could be a generation old, and freshly beaten paths spread trash and newly fallen trees and gathered rocks make it clear that the dwellers are still altering their surroundings. The woods around you filled with wildlife, crowding in the tree crowns, grasses, and trunks. A boar flees up the path, keeping its eyes on you as it runs. A dragonling is drinking from the pond you just rode by. There are few people gathered at the gate. More of them approach you from behind. You count 8 of them in total, with only one female face among them. All are younger than 40, with weapons at their sides or in their hands. Simple flails, two-handed axes on long hafts, maces, spears, throwing clubs. Equipment so heavy and unwieldy that you can't be sure if it's meant to threaten you or to get through the skin of nearby monsters if necessary. Some of those who came through the open gate have bare chests, displaying their scars and bandages, but the others are wearing heavy jackets and look nothing like pure farmers seeking shelter for a night. They mount in silence, together with the curious rooks sitting on top of the wall. So, do we try to use the intimidation play by dismounting smoothly, standing upright, and then giving everyone a chance as number 1? Or do we get down slowly and then keep our open hands in the air as number 2, which is the I'm not a threat, please do not hurt me option? So, intimidate or not intimidate? That is the question before us all, chat. 1 or 2, intimidate or no intimidate? What shall we do? Says 2. All right, Dragoon. Take care. Have a great day, and hopefully you'll get to join me again. Monday through Friday, I will be here at 1 my time, Eastern U.S. time. You know the drill. Later, Gator. But yes, the vote has started with 2. So, 1 or 2, chat. Which shall we do? I am leaving it all up to you. I see that chat is leaving it up to me. All right, then. I will get down slowly, then keep my open hands in what the last vote was. One of the strangers nods in approval, while the other gestures for you to step away from your mount, making sure you're not hiding anything. All right. Leave here every blade. Tie the beast somewhere. He points his thumb behind him, leading your eyes to a loose stake of the palisade. Glaucia's on her way, he adds matter-of-factly, as if to a regular waiting for an alehouse keeper. You follow his command, waiting for the dwellers in silence. From afar, you hear the footfalls of the person who joins you soon after. Her massive winter boots are made of leather that still remembers the garnet dye of the past and have wide and firm heels. The bronze of the decorative buckles is polished without a hint of green. Her emerald eye running over your mount and equipment, reaching your face last, and with little curiosity. She's broad-shouldered, with a muscular figure and face. Her long, shining mail rests on a green acton, making noise with every movement of her arms. Her right hand is tapping the hilt of a sickle sword, a broad blade meant for chopping not just flesh, but also twigs, sheathed at her side. The short, dark hair of a fighter is carefully cut, and her skin is healthily tan. It takes another few breaths for you to notice the other side of her appearance. While she's wider than anyone in sight, she's more than a head shorter than you. You spot the gray strands of hair and the wrinkles cut by scars on her cheeks and lips. Her hand is missing a thumb, explaining why the blade is in her right hand, or her right side, and an old bruise surrounding her left eye hinders her from fully opening it, so it's difficult for you to match her gaze. So, do we believe that she's just acting tough? Do we believe that she must be here, or do we think that she's performing and we try not to smirk? It's fine, Dragon. I know that you are usually busy playing a game. So 1, 2, or 3, chat. What will it be? You guys tell me. Tough, fighter, performing. Dragon has started off the vote with 2. She must be quite a fighter. Well, the twos have won. She must be quite a fighter. A palfrey this time. Her confident, powerful voice matches her straight posture. She reaches for the bottom of Soda Pop's neck slowly, allowing it to accept the touch after a moment of hesitation. It's more for running than combat, I believe. The Saurian was dangerous, but slower, without much stamina. You look for a reason why she would lecture you about your own trade, then notice the curious eyes of her band, listening to every word. It may be the first horse they've ever seen. Stranger, she looks at you again and steps back. I heard about your arrival to the peninsula. Didn't expect to see you at our doorstep. We don't have much to discuss. Tell me you ain't stupid enough to provoke my hand. We have the friendly option. I see no reason why we can't have a friendly conversation. We have the playful option. And I'm surprised to see you're open to having a talk with Roadwarden. Life gets funny sometimes. We have the distanced, aka neutral option. I have a few questions for you. We have the intimidating option. I don't provoke. I either cut or I don't. For now, let's have a talk. Or we have the vulnerable option. Trust me, I'm far from being a threat. Just let me ask you a few questions and I'm out of your sight. I believe Dragon has started off the vote with 2 playful. 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, chat. What shall it be? Friendly, playful, distanced, intimidating, or vulnerable? Dragon has started off the vote with 2 playful. Any is welcome to weigh in. Well, it seems we're going with the playful option today. And I'm surprised to see you're open to having a talk with a Roadwarden. Life gets funny sometimes. Not a smart risk for you to take, but very well, she pauses. For all I know, you're yet another city spy, but I'd rather make sure you won't hinder our work. She pauses, then invites you to follow her with a nod. Let's take a stroll. I ain't missing a chance to enjoy the rest of the summer. She heads north, and before you decide what to do next, you hear a simple command from a man behind you. Walk. Judging by the way he holds his spear, you have no real choice. I guess I go north then. Ooh, that's nice. I like how it all opens up like that. We still do not know what's inside the walls, but that's fun. I love the art of this game. The neglected path leads to a pond, through the rocks sticking out of the ground, fallen branches and the rotting deck covering a wide puddle. There are some signs of repairs made on the bridge for fishers, but there are also some broken logs and a boat with a large hole in its hull. Glaucia and 2 of her guards walk with you in silence, surrounded by the screeching beasts around you and above you. She takes leisurely strides, and as you step onto the bridge, looking across the pond, you can see that the woods surround it from all sides, like the walls of a dungeon chamber, with green and gray saurians basking both on the banks and in the shallow water. The frogs, flies, and blackbirds shatter any guise of peace. The wood beneath you is slippery. Whenever the woman makes a sudden movement, you flinch, preparing your shield to push her away. Don't have any doubts, she speaks calmly, look at distance. I have little and even less patience. It's better that we meet this way instead of on the road. She turns towards you and moves her hand behind her back. But if you have no good reason to talk to me, you can scat right away. This land needs no soldiers, and chiefly, no city folk. So, we have 3 options in response. We could say, I could use your knowledge to help people. I'm sure you know these well. We could say, how do you know if I have a good reason? Or we could say, you heard. This is not a woman we want to push. And we are all about helping people. The dragon's vote of 1 is absolutely within our wheelhouse. I'm not sure questioning her is a good idea, but she did say talk. Ooh, you got pizza. Dragon, what kind of did you get? I think I'm going to go with Dragon's one, actually. I could use your knowledge to help people. I'm sure you know these woods well. There are some who could use another land. I'll agree. That sounds delicious, Dragon. Now you're making me hungry. Barbecue chicken with stuffed crust. That would hit the spot, but I will probably be eating something completely different. Enjoy your chicken, or your pizza, and your chicken. Your barbecue chicken pizza. Just enjoy. Anyways, back to the story. There are some who could use another hand, I'll agree, but there are also those who deserve nothing better than to be thrown into an elk pit. If you want my help, make me believe you can tell them apart. Without another word, she leads you back, then through the gate. The old rotting roof of the only building is starting to bend under its own weight, but its condition is only slightly worse than that of the area around it. The broken tools, soggy planks and logs, the broken fence of an animal pen, and the waist-high nettle leaves growing on every scrap of ground that's not been beaten down by boots. The hamlet smells of perdidity. The screeching of animals isn't as overwhelming here, but unlike in other settlements, there's hardly any labor to fill the emptiness. The bandits either follow you or sit around idly. There's firewood gathered by the wall, and you see someone eating a piece of cold roasted meat, but it seems like no one is eager to grab a hammer, a needle, or a carving knife. Glaucia doesn't stop, making you follow her around the long shelter. She keeps her eyes straight ahead, not commenting on anything you walk by. With every step, her mail jangles slightly, breaking the silence. Your eyes wander around or stare at the back of her head. So we have lots of things to say. Lots of things to say. I'm just going to start picking things that make me interested and just read for a while. I have a feeling we'll get through the majority of this. Let's try not to piss her off in the process. So, I'd like to learn more about you. She doesn't even stop. Hire yourself a bard, she growls. Okay. Foggy mentioned some dark days pushing you into becoming a bandit. More of them than you can count. Or did you think people leave their warm homes to pick up easy coins? We have survivors from the long-gone village of Steep House. A lad forced into marriage some old pricks with long beards. A cooper whose daughter poisoned herself with a daffodil pie. A hunter whose home was lost to a fire. A shepherd who took an oath to clean these woods of wolves. A hungry thief who chose to run away instead of losing their arm. The guards are now more numerous. Some of them look down, casting you shameful glances, while others meet your eyes, keeping their backs straight. We were all wronged by this land. Glaucia carries on, and as her steps grow springy, her mail becomes annoyingly loud. And our work will give us our pride back. You may want to stay away from Old Pagos. It's been struggling with a plague. She glanced at you with her unmarked eyebrow raised, making the difference between the sizes of her eyes even more jarring. You think I don't know what's happening in my land? I don't need your rumors. Trying to find out what happened to Asteron. She doesn't spare you a glance. So? There are some who are convinced that you had something to do with his disappearance. It's true, some are convinced, but I don't believe we are. Can you help me? Is a way. So tell me what you know is slightly more direct. But we could just let out a loud sigh and say, what do you want? This is interesting. I don't think we can demand answers out of her. So tell me what you know is probably not going to go anywhere, but can you help me? I'm not sure we'll go anywhere either. Making her think that there are some convinced that she had something to do with it might get an angry answer, might get her defending herself. I don't know. This is a hard decision. Dragon wants to say, so tell me what you know. There's not really a good response here. I think there are responses that will get us more or less of information, but I'm not sure we have a response here that's good. Interesting. I'll go with what Dragon voted, sure. Unless there's anyone else in chat who wants to weigh in on this, you're welcome to do so. I will eat after stream, Dragon. It's really hard to eat on stream because, you know, I have a lot of talking to do. Talking and having your mouth full does not work out. It just doesn't. It's also kind of rude. So we'll just avoid that. Yeah. So tell me what you know. Also, for non-subscribers, there's an ad coming in a minute or so. You hear an annoyed grunt. Right. No. He and I shared a few goals, and if I was to tell you about my plans, I would need to know it won't stab me in the back. Okay. She wants more for her. Okay. Well, do you need any assistance? She stops in place, then gestures at a soggy bench. Both of you sit down. Your eyes don't meet. Instead, you observe the dark birds that are pushing and pecking each other over old gruel spread among the nettles. And why would a Roadwarden want to help? To avoid harm. To be rewarded. I smile. We all need friends, don't we? I never forget to eat. It's part of my habit. There's an ad starting soon, however. But yeah, no, I always eat after stream. It's just I will be eating slightly later than usual. But not by much. I ate before stream too, so I eat. I promise. Incoming ad. I will consider my thoughts once it starts. Huh. She's tricky, this one. Very tricky. Tricky, tricky, tricky. She's obviously angry. Very angry. Bad things have happened. She's taken in the what one could call riffraff, but others could call down on their luck people. And they're all angry. I get that. They're trying to make something of themselves here in the heart of the forest, no less. The most dangerous place you can settle down in. So how do we respond by why would a Roadwarden want to help me? I mean, to avoid harm, we do want to avoid harm as much as possible. We want to help people. That's what we want to do. That it's in our character journal and our character and everything. We do like rewards, but they're not necessarily necessary. I think to some degree our character feels that a job well done is a reward unto itself because it means we've helped someone and that rewards us well. The fact that we get paid for it a lot of the times is helpful for our survival, but it's not the be all end all for us. And I don't know, do we smile and say we all need friends, don't we? Because I mean, we do. We kind of need to cultivate friendship. For those of you who are stuck in the ad, welcome back. Thank you, Dragon, for showing care. I promise I do take care of myself to an extent. I mean, we're all flawed humans here. But I was discussing what I feel about this woman, about Glaucia and her motivations, and I'm actually sort of stuck between to avoid harm and we all need friends, don't we? Because the rewards of helping others is kind of the fact that we helped them is kind of a reward in and of itself, and the fact that we get paid oftentimes for helping people is sort of the bonus, is my understanding of our character of Sauron. To avoid harm, absolutely, we don't want these people to die. We don't, like, as much as they have been said to be bandits and they have done a bit of banditry, these are all people who are down on their luck, who've fallen on hard times or bad experiences elsewhere and are just trying to make it in this world. And this northern province is a rough place to live, to be quite frank. So yeah, I think I'm going to agree with Dragon on this and say we all need friends, don't we? Because we do need to cultivate friendships or understandings with the locals so that we can support each other and facilitate trade and all that stuff. So yeah, I think we all need friends, don't we? She takes a few heartbeats to respond. No, what I have is a family. She glances at the men who observe you from a distance, and I trust them more than I would any stranger. She leans back and looks at the clouds. But you can do some small things for me, and not for free. One of my lads has abandoned his post and has taken something very valuable to me. He wants to start his life anew, so he won't use his name. But you'll recognize him. Speaks like someone from my village, he does. While her tone is sarcastic, her eyes remain serious. Young, strong, with a pretty face and blue eyes of a beaten cub. Shaves often. Last hog he had on his back was our black gameson, matching his short hair. But if he has any wits, he sold it somewhere already. Oh, hey, we ran into this guy earlier today. When she crosses one leg with the other, her mail chinks so it makes you flinch. She reaches for her boot, adjusting it with her broad fingers. He doesn't want to be found, but he may need a Roadwarden's help. If so, merely tell me where he hides and I will find him, all right? She straightens up and rises to her feet, as if the conversation reached its conclusion. Drop you a few coins for trouble. 4, maybe? Or I can give you a handful of arrows for a crossbow. I don't need them, really. Yep, she's more for loyalty. What did he take from you? A small supply of black powder I was saving for a special occasion. For one thing, I'd be ready to forgive him, but betraying my trust and taking our secrets outside is beyond excuses. Why did he leave your band? She thinks about it for a few heartbeats. He's weak, she states. But after seeing your frown, she puts her hand behind her back. He joined us not that long ago. He didn't have any drive, was merely bored with his old life, but was good enough with his knives to impress me. Turns out he wasn't ready for the change he took upon himself, and he left before he paid his debt to me. What will you do with him once you find him? She frowns, narrowing her healthy eye as if it's too obvious to be worthy of an answer. What he deserves. You have nothing to gain in all this. You could just let him walk away. She rests her hand on her weapon. Stop trying to anger me, outsider. Whatever you think of me, I ain't a hothead. When I draw my blade, she pauses, rubbing the hilt with her finger. I do so with conviction. Any tips on where to start? If I knew how to answer that, I'd have gone after him already. He was cautious, left our hunting group to take a leak, then sneaked away. The band assumed he got caught by a cat, but I told them to search our supplies. I doubt he took them for a walk, all right? What if I can't find him? Why, he's most likely dead already. Killing lone travelers is what the woods are best for. If you can't find him, let me know. No answers, no pay, but also no hard feelings. I'll tell you once I learn anything. What can you tell me about the ruins of the road? A long pause. A lot, but there ain't anything you can do about them. Hmm. Can you tell me anything about the undead in the north? Her armor clinks so loudly that a nearby roof flutters its wings, dashing to the wall. They are around. She meets your eyes, tapping the hilt of her sword. Why do you ask? How do we respond to this? Because we are absolutely referencing White Marshes and their controlled awakened. We could say that they need to be dealt with, of course, and to some extent we do believe that, but maybe that will emphasize we want to attack the undead, and as much as you want to clear them out, we also do not know what the full situation is up there or why they're even being used. The second one is I wonder if you see them as a threat, because we have been to White Marshes and have not yet been attacked by the undead. They do seem to be keeping on top of keeping control of them. So we know for a fact that she's really only been targeting White Marshes. So we wondering if she sees them as a threat is a reasonable response. Being prepared for anything is also reasonable as a Roadwarden, which is probably the least lying or the least deceptive of the answers we could give, but also the most neutral of them as well. So, Dragon has voted for 3. If anybody wants to weigh in on this, you are welcome to do so. Looks like the 3s have it. I'd rather be prepared for anything. She stares at you, then turns away slowly, carrying on with her walk. There are some undead in the darkest thickets, but they ain't anything more than a gentle rash on a shell filled with poison. White Marshes, with their dark arts and crazy warlocks, are the real danger, and a part of our work is taking away any bone we can get from them. You ask her to say something more, and she slows down. They ain't merely using their own dead, outsider. They seek the shells in the woods. They scavenge for them like... She waves at one of the rooks, which opens its mouth in objection. Shame on the villages that let them do so. May the right drown them all. Oh, interesting. Why do you target White Marshes? And why don't you? She turns just her head, giving you an annoyed glance. What good is a Roadwarden for if there are armies of awoken shells right under their noses? Well, we could say, I can't force an entire village to obey the laws of a faraway city, which is true. It makes it very difficult. I could say, I'll put the Necromancer's rule to an end, I just need to find a way. I could say, but they aren't hurting anyone, really. Or I could say, let me understand the situation better so I can do something about it. I would highly recommend 2 or 4, honestly. 2 is kind of the more aggressive answer. 4 is the more scholarly answer. Saying that they aren't hurting anyone really after they've said, yeah, but they're looking for other people's corpses, not just their own, is kind of antagonizing Glaucia, which we don't really want to do. And but it is true that we can't enforce an entire village to obey the laws of a faraway city. That is entirely the truth. It's not the answer I would want to give, though. Number 1 is not the answer I'd want to give. 2 is aggressive. 3 is antagonistic. And 4, I think, which is Dragon's vote, at the very least, is our best way forward, I believe. So we're going to go with that, because I agree with Dragon. Good job, Dragon. I agree with you. The brow over her healthy eye furrows with her frown. Are you that blind? There are necromancers in our land. What else is there to tell? These spells have been forbidden since the days before the 10 cities, and the way the settlements are looking away, their laziness. Her tone is full of disgust. Their separation from all of them rights written on our souls by the right. It lets the beasts devour the last shreds of what we as humans deserve. She ambles forward without looking at you. I have nothing to gain from telling you some stories. Fight for what's right or fall with the others. Okay. You made Laysun quite worried with your recent moves. She slows down. The two of you approach the old animal pen, though right now it's inhabited only by rocks and worms. She leans against the soggy fence, which moans in protest. Her emerald eyes don't hide her surprise, or perfectly imitate it. I suppose I should have expected Lassen's boar eyes on me, but what does he want to get from you exactly? We could say, diplomatically, to learn what you're to achieve, are you planning to attack his hunters? Because that is something he very much cares about. Or we could say, I see nothing surprising in an innkeeper who's worried about bandits. Which is also true, but we have learned that Glaucia is not just a band of bandits. I mean, they do practice a bit of banditry, but they're not just bandits. Dragon says 1. And I do not disagree with Dragon on this. I really feel like, saying there's nothing surprising about an innkeeper who's worried about bandits is just going to attack. So let's kind of be diplomatic about this. Are you planning to attack his hunters? It takes her unusually long to answer. All right, tell him this, stranger. Don't sweat. The right leads my blade and dreams against the necromancers of White Marshes. Also, bed with an ibex. She's saucy. I like her. Glaucia's hardcore, but she's got a good humor on her, I think. Yeah, don't sweat. The right leads my blade and dreams against the necromancers of White Marshes. Also, bed with an ibex. Like, she's just like, stay out of my business, asshole. I kind of like her. You speak of Lassun as if you work together, but he didn't agree to let Hand move into Pelt. Am I wrong? Oh, that old quarrel? She blinks a few times, with her wounded eyelid moving noticeably slower. I offered him to join our forces some years back, but I almost forgot about it. Seeing your surprised look, she scoffs and confidently moves forward, increasing the pace. In your place, I'd consider where you put your trust, stranger. Exactly, Dragon. This is definitely a sort of step on me, mommy sort of woman. There are some who are convinced that you had something to do with Astron's disappearance. She stops in place, and her heavy hand rests on your shoulder, pulling you down. You catch the weak scent of myrtle, a flower that grows in warmer lands and is often delivered by ships to Hovlavin, a bit like sour, a bit like mint. And who are those some? You notice that 2 of her front teeth are missing. Do we mention Ela of Crease, or do we just smile? You choose Glaucia, Dragon. I would think that a certain Resident Evil character from a recent Resident Evil game might be more your style, being a very tall vampire lady who's quite well endowed. Just saying. She seems to be the step on me mommy choice of the internet at the moment since her debut. I mean, she is Mega Mommy. Yeah, she is. I did watch Markiplier play through that game. I will be honest. It was hard, but I did it. And there was a lot of me pausing until I could watch it again. because hemophobia is kind of awful. But yeah, no, that was a fun playthrough, and Markiplier's kind of the forefront of that whole movement on the internet. Congrats. She's difficult to beat. She's a hard fight in that game. So, what do you think? Should we fess up to Ela of Creeks, though he means well, or do we just smile so that she doesn't get mad at Creeks? 2. Dragon says 2. I like Ela. I mean, he just wants to be a carpenter. He's a nice guy. Yeah, I'm just gonna smile. She waits for a few more breaths, piercing through you with her emerald eyes, then pushes you away and continues her walk. Let them talk. People will ascribe to me every misdeed or bad dream they have, but I had no Roadwarden in my stew. Yet. Ooh, spicy. I reached for the pouch with a necklace. I think this belongs to you. Hearing you reach for something, she leaps away and turns towards you rapidly, but seeing the trinket, she stands still with an open mouth. After a beat, she clears her throat and reaches towards you with an open 4-fingered palm. So it is, stranger, but I ain't one to keep around sentimental rubbish. She glances at her boots. Cheers, I guess. I smile and toss it to her, is option 1. Also, Rufina will make you a new one next time you get home, and she'll kick your teeth out. Which is a message we were supposed to send. We were told to send. Or, I hold the necklace a bit longer than necessary. It was at the Western Beach, looking for ways to broaden your trade. Do we pass on the message we were asked to pass on, or do we ask questions? 1 or 2? That's a hard choice. That is a hard choice. I actually think discussing Rufina will probably be better. Nostalgia always wins, right, guys? Nostalgia always wins. We're gonna do that. Nostalgia it is. She observes the necklace in silence, then glances at the nettles as if it should find its rest with them. Finally, she puts it in a sack at her side, and her mouth is torn between a smile and remaining tight-lipped. I ain't sure I like your nosiness, she speaks slowly. But I admit I'd like to see Rufina's kicks in those fancy togs of hers. Her steps seem a little bit lighter than usual. Oh, that was a good choice. I've heard in Gale Rocks that the villagers are awaiting some spice merchants. She doesn't say a thing, waiting for you to go on. Do you know anything about it? She shrugs. Nothing you need to hear. I found an abandoned cart on the Eastern Trail. She keeps her pace, forcing you to stare at her hair, then steps outside the gate looking. And you dropped this arrow there. She freezes, then turns around too quickly for you to notice how it ends up in her hand. Your fingers are aching for the next few minutes. Cheers for returning it to me. She scowls at you and throws the arrow to one of her guards. I ain't going to explain myself to you. We needed tools and wares to sell, so we did them. The merchants are back in their homes, with their skin untouched and togs on their backs. They knew the risk and took it. You flinch when she reaches for your shoulder, but someone is already behind you, keeping you in her range. Her strong hand squeezes your flesh. Do we have a problem here? So, we could clear our throat and just meekly say, no problem, Glaucia. We could shake our head slowly and say, I needed to know the truth, that's all. We could try to shake her hand off me. I'm responsible for these roads, don't make me your enemy, which is antagonistic. Or we could take a gamble and say without a word, we could try to withstand her gaze, which is a gamble, a physical gamble. But we do have full vitality and full nourishment. I just don't know if this gamble is worth it. Personally, I would probably just say I needed to know the truth, that's all. because we were more concerned about the merchants than the goods. Let's be honest. Our concern was for the merchants. We came here to save the merchants if they had not made it out, if they had been taken capture. The fact that they were able to flee back to the south, that's fine. We don't care. But yeah. Being meek with Glaucia will probably make her happier, so number 1 probably makes her happy. Number 2 is what I would prefer, is just I needed to know the truth, that's all. Because we were more concerned about the people, not the goods. Antagonistically saying I'm responsible for the roads, don't make me your enemy, as number 3 does not seem like a good idea. Like, that's just antagonizing Glaucia, and she is a powerful woman. We are at her mercy at the moment, so pissing her off is not the way to go about things. But gambling to try and withstand her gaze, I don't know if that's a good idea. Maybe she would respect us more, maybe not, but she just like plucked that arrow out of our hands and left our hands stinging for it quickly. Like, I don't think we need to necessarily... I think I'm gonna go with 2. I'm pretty sure Dragon voted 1, but I think I'm gonna go with 2. I just needed to know the truth, that's all. You needed, did you? You sigh with relief when she releases your shoulder, but then her strong fingers start to pat the front of your neck. And I need you to know your place. Her hand forms a fist and hits your chest gently. Don't be a kid. Some questions are better left unanswered. Her emerald eyes weigh on you heavier than her touch. She walks away slowly, gesturing for you to follow. What else? Well, we need to gain trust. I would like to talk to the man before we give him away. And I'm not going to lie about it, because we don't lie in this house. And I should be wrapping up stream anyway, so we're going to leave it here. We are going to leave it here with Glaucia's band in the middle of the woods. We finally have found the hideout. So that's good. That's good. Yeah, so this has been Roadwarden by Moral Anxiety Games. Thank you guys for sticking with me. I'm going to try and stream for 3 hours this week and see how it goes. So feel free to return to me tomorrow when we will start Roadwarden once again, having completed a boatload of quests, I might add, at 1 p.m. Eastern U.S. time. If you are not in the Eastern U.S. time zone, feel free to Google what time my stream starts for all of you. But until then, I hope everyone has a fantastic rest of your day. It doesn't look like Dragon is streaming now, so I cannot come raid him. But I don't have many people to raid with, so perhaps that's for the best. Dragon, enjoy the rest of your game. Good luck with the rest of your Resident Evil, and I will hopefully see everyone again tomorrow. Take care, guys.